On January 15th, 2024, Drake would file one of the most memorable lawsuits ever in the history of rap. After dropping a lawsuit just hours before, people expected that Drake would be looking to shy away from legal disputes with his record labels UMG as well as Spotify. Instead, shockingly, he would file his second defamation suit against UMG, much different than the one filed in the state of Texas. What would make this one more polarizing than the one filed before would be the details.
A lot of people in the community are saying, this is not how you deal with hip hop rap battle beef. You go in the studio, you lay down some tracks. This is not what Drake is doing.
Stating that Kendrick Lamar's song Not Like Us would imply things such as racism, violence and vitriol, and false allegations of criminal behavior. No matter the outcome, this lawsuit is sure to change the future of rap beefs due to the fact of Kendrick versus Drake being the most popular beef ever in the history of rap. The only beef comparable will be that of Tupac versus Biggie, which would lead one to think, what if something similar happened back then? What if Biggie sued Interscope because of Tupac? In this video, we will go down that rabbit hole as well as the ripple effect. If Biggie would have sued Interscope for Tupac's actions, what would it be based on and what would be the ripple effect? Similar to Drake's case against UMG, it would detail possible defamation issued by Tupac against the Notorious B.I.G., possibly starting with Tupac claiming Biggie was a part of his 1994 quad studio shooting.
So do you think Puffy was involved in the shooting?
I believe so. I do believe so. I have proved things that I can say that will back up my claim.
But if you was to get shot 5 times, mine is just completely spinning, you know what I'm saying? You're real confused about your situation. So it'll cause you to say things that you really don't mean.
Giving Biggie an angle for malicious actions committed. On top of that, Tupac's statements about sexual activity with Biggie's wife will point to bullying and harassment. The case will be sensationalized by the media, creating more publicity for both artists, but damaging Biggie's reputation immensely. From the attention Tupac and Death Row will be receiving, would the jealousy drive Snoop to the point where he would leave even sooner, jumping ship to go with Dr. Dre in Aftermath instead of his messy exit later on with No Limit? There will be no conflict with Snoop leaving the Row because Tupac, a well-rounded artist, needed no beefs to be relevant. He would go on to make more successful albums and maybe even win an Oscar. Up until everything will be ripped away by Faith Evans after the Me Too movement would take hold, claiming the events of her night with Tupac will be as dismal as the night another accuser previously made against Tupac in his prior case, making it almost impossible for Tupac to refute, losing everything. Meanwhile, Biggie would be living off of millions made from a settled case, but will be ushered out of hip-hop, killing the reputation of Bad Boy, which would never recover from Biggie's case. Infuriating Puffy, which would probably lead to Biggie leaving in a similar way he did in Our Reality. The King of New York moniker created and ran with by Biggie would maybe never been solidified, instead leaving Nas and Jay-Z to fight for the top of New York. What would happen to Nas with no battle ever happening with Jay-Z, who too might not be as big, since no Jay-Z versus Nas battle, no Summer Jam screen, no takeover, no ether. Soon, the top of New York title will be taken by DMX. Common and Ice Cube would have similar endings, with Farrakhan rushing to bring the two together, claiming that record labels would soon get involved with lawsuits. Cannabis may have had a chance to have an established career, being that second round knockout would have never been created, never taken a career-ending defeat from LL Cool J. If Biggie would have sued Interscope because of Tupac, there would have never been the 50 Cent we witnessed, who first got known from a track called How to Rob. He will be quickly blackballed and sued by several artists he named on the track, which would make him too risky for a label to sign, making him primarily a mixtape artist, like Max B. Even more, he may not even been discovered by his mentor, Eminem, who was signed by Dr. Dre. who got his demo from Interscope's Jimmy Iovine, who was notified by a scout who saw Eminem at a rap battle Olympics in 1997, especially since Jimmy would be scared to death to sign a battle rapper after dealing with so many damages from Tupac's legal case. In fact, would we even have rap battle as we have it today? Would Smack even be able to place his battles on YouTube, which made it an undeniable staple in hip-hop culture? YouTube would strike and remove battles, too afraid to be liable for any damages incurred from such battles. Would we ever have witnessed Cassidy versus Freeway? No URL, no Eminem, no 8 Mile. Since no Eminem, we would have never witnessed Benzino cry, and Ja Rule would have even more hits than he has now, up until the feds would still raid Murder Inc.'s offices. Ja Rule would move on to find another record label, maybe even Bad Boy, which would try to reclaim its spot. Since Ja Rule would never lose to 50 Cent, there would never be a Fyre Festival. With no celebrity to vouch for it, it would never get off the ground. Kanye would still be as big as he is now, but possibly even bigger. With the watered down culture, his friendly competition he had with 50 Cent would have never occurred. His albums would have been popular from the beginning, but then again, what label would he even be on? Would Rockefeller even be as big as it is now with Jay-Z being his primary artist? Would Jay-Z's career even be the same due to his preliminary connections to Biggie, who would not be the artist we know now? Unlike Drake, who would still get his chance to meet Lil Wayne, though Drake may be even bigger in the hip-hop industry, way more watered down and politically correct than it is now. He would never have battled Meek Mills, no back-to-back, being that Meek would never have made it, because he also got big battling on the streets of Philly. In fact, Drake might have now been in his own legal process, in court debating the fact that Adonis is his child. No Pusha T battle would have occurred with no Story of Adonis song. So now the child would be stuck trying to convince the world his father is the sixth god, like Jay-Z's possible son. Maybe Gucci Mane will be headed back to prison. No versus match with Jeezy, no way for him to get his revenge. Kendrick Lamar will be just as big, but we would never have a Not Like Us, Euphoria, or Meet the Grams. No apology from J. Cole. No first-person shooter. Who knows? Now, he could even be working on a joint album with J. Cole and even Big Sean, who would be a much bigger artist, taking in a scenario that the song Control would have never been made in such a way. Julio Fulio might still be alive as a lower-level SoundCloud rapper. The same could be said for Young and Ace. With no viral video involved, the two would have almost nothing to stand on. In fact, the same could possibly be said for Chief Keef, King Von, and Lil Durk, because there would be no drill rap. The genre of music would never exist due to it being too much of a liability for corporations to promote, which means DJ Academics would be a low-level YouTuber, somewhere around 4,000 subs. He would keep his day job, moving on to become the manager at a T-Mobile store. All this if Biggie would have sued Interscope, like Drake sued UMG for defamation. And whether you like this parallel universe or not, you are now living in it. Drake's case of defamation against UMG for Kendrick's Not Like Us song, no matter the outcome, will change rap forever.
This nigga Drake done snitched on the reaction community. It's no way.
Once again, I'm not a fan of this lawsuit.
Everybody else cause Drake, you have no idea what you just did. You think niggas was clowning you before this?
You know what I mean? Like, bro, you're gonna sound real crazy if your lawyer, his job is only tasked with getting the money that you claim you're owed, he's gonna say anything in these filings.
It seems like a failed attempt sort of not to look petty, not to look like he's suing the artist that just, annihilated him in this rap battle. Let's just call it for what it is. That song is a banger, right?
This will definitely change rap forever, because Kendrick versus Drake is this generation's Biggie versus Tupac. And only one thing is for sure: Drake is the first rapper to end a rap battle with a lawsuit. But now, he probably won't be the last.